Hey everybody, Douglas Blair Roberts, the brown skinned human here, and of course, the Super Vader 400 here, back for another video. And as you can see by the title above, this is my spoiler-filled review of Avengers Endgame. I saw the film May 4th, 2019 with my parents and a good friend of mine. And right here, is the ticket as proof that I saw it. I don't know if you can see it very well. But right here is the ticket. The ticket proving that I actually saw the film right here. Yeah, that's a good picture right there. So, yeah. Yeah, I saw the film May 4th, 2019. Meant to review it the day after I saw it, but I hung out with that same friend the day after, and I was just too tired to review anything, and I was just too busy watching this awesome movie over and over and over again to finally review it. And I finally got around to recording the audio portion of this review, but I never got a chance to record the webcam portion of the review for the full video. But finally, here it is, and this will be, as soon as I get done recording recording both parts together, it will be uploaded to various platforms such as Facebook and YouTube. But let's talk about this awesome movie for a moment. Avengers Endgame. Avengers Endgame, just like Infinity War last year. This film is the biggest box office smash hit spectacle of 2019. Just like Infinity War was for 2018, this is for 2019. This film was awesome. I have a lot of problems with this film, as I will be talking about in part 2, the narration portion of this review, but this film right here was awesome. It was truly an Endgame. The phase 3 and phase 4, phase 3 hasn't even ended yet, and phase 4 hasn't even begun yet, but I'm already missing Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr., which I'm going to talk more about that in part 2. But like I said, this film was awesome. The action, drama, spectacle, and comedy. I have a lot of problems with this film, mainly just like last year at the writing. Spectacle wise, it's the biggest, baddest film there is, but when it comes to screenplay, it's weak. There are a lot of problems with this film, as I will be talking about in part 2. So yeah, and like I said, it's a spoiler-filled video. I also waited several weeks because I figured by now it's about to be June 2019. I figured everyone who planned to see this movie has already saw this film. But for those of you who haven't, I will put a disclaimer on my video that this is a spoiler-filled video, telling you not to watch it if you still haven't seen the movie yet. But I feel everyone has seen this movie by now. So with that being said, let's hit my music and get this review started.
Don't criticize.
Hey everybody, Douglas Blair Roberts here, the brown skinned human, and of course, the Super Vader 400 here, back for part 2 of my review of Avengers Endgame. My spoiler filled review of Avengers Endgame was gonna do both a spoiler and non-spoiler version, but I decided to skip it. So if you haven't seen this movie, then once again, do not watch this review right here if you haven't seen the film. But I think everybody's seen it now. It's been out for weeks now. So with that being said, let's get started now. I'm gonna talk about the story, characters, and what I liked and didn't like about this film. Like I said already before we start in part 1 of this film is the best and worst comic book movie at the same time. I'm going to be doing another video in the future where I count down the best comic books and another video where I count down the worst comic book movies, in my opinion. It will be on both of those lists for various reasons. So with that being said, let's get started right now. Of course, this film, according to Wikipedia and the film itself, I really wasn't paying attention to this when I was in theaters. This film is set 20 plus days, 23 days after Thanos hit the snap in the previous Avengers movie, Infinity War. And Tony Stark and Nebula are both stranded in space. They are later rescued by Captain Marvel, and they reunite with Pepper and the rest of the surviving Avengers team. Tony Stark has nothing for them. And instead, Captain Marvel, Captain America, Black Widow, War Machine, Nebula, and Rocket and Thor take to fight the Thanos because Nebula knows where he is. They go there. They notice that there is no security, There's no security surrounding Thanos. There's nothing standing in their way. Thanos is retired, has his armor on a scarecrow, and is cooking breakfast in a hut somewhere like Shrek. That's what he reminded me of when I saw this movie. They see him there, they immediately ambush and easily they cut off his arm with the gauntlet on it. They note Rocket immediately notices that the stones are missing. He asks him, where are they? Thanos replies that he used the stones to destroy the stones, so his work can never be undone. And it nearly killed him. And severely weakened him because they were easily, unlike in the previous film, they were easily able to they were easily able to they were easily able to they were easily they were easily able to overpower him. Sorry about the stuttering. I got distracted by something on my computer. But yeah, where was I? So yeah, then then Thor angrily decapitates Thanos as a callback to his failure from the first film where he had him, but instead he went for the chest instead of going for the head. They asked, "What did you do?" He said, "I went for the head this time," and quietly left, angry with his failure to kill Thanos sooner. So yeah, and after this, the Avengers go back to their normal lives. There's a 5-year time gap where Hawkeye, who lost his family at the beginning of the film, yeah, that was actually the first scene. The stuff with Nebula and Tony Stark was the second scene. He was on a picnic with his family. They got dusted, and in the meantime he became the vigilante Ronin and is in Japan killing Yakuza members. Then you have who else? Yeah, you have Captain America is doing therapy sessions. Oki is back in Wakanda. Captain Marvel has went back into space to help the other people who were victims of the Thanos snap. And who else? and Tony Stark has a kid. Tony Stark has a kid with Pepper Potts now named Morgan. So so a lot is changed. The plot picks up again when they notice a recording, they notice a video of Scott Lang, Ant-Man, outside of the compound wanting to see them. Black Widow at first thinks this is an old message, but no, that's now Scott Lang, who had just escaped the quantum realm thanks to a rat. Um, Thanks to a rat, comes out to find that everybody except his daughter has been dusted, and even he is counted amongst the people who are dusted, even though he wasn't. He was in the quantum realm all this time. Um, he then reunites with Black Widow and Steve Rogers, and he comes up with the plan. He comes up with a plan to go back in time to collect the Infinity Stones, because the quantum realm is way different from the regular realm. The quantum realm, whereas it only been 5 years, whereas it been 5 years in real life, it only been 5 hours for him in that bizarre quantum realm, and that's where he comes up with his plan to go back in time to get the Infinity Stones before Thanos collects them and snaps existence again. Black Widow then finds Hawkeye. Hawkeye convinces him to give up his vigilante nonsense and return and help bring everyone back. Hawkeye is the first. Hawkeye next to Lang is the first test subject of the PIM particles, which are used to enter the quantum realm, which are used to enter and return from the quantum realm. Hawkeye is successful. He doesn't reunite with them, but he sees his family. He sees his family, and then saying his work. So then each person pairs up. Nebula pairs up with Rhodey, War Machine. Thor pairs up with Rocket to go back to 2013. I mentioned Nebula and Rhodey. They went back to Guardians of the Galaxy 2014. Morag and Tony Stark and Captain America went back to the Avengers 2012 film, and Hawkeye and Black Widow went to Vormir to retrieve the Soul Stone. Tony Stark gets knocked out by the Hulk and accidentally messes up the time heist, which allows Loki to escape past Loki to escape in another reality with the Infinity Stone. Stone. Infinity Stone into another reality. They said somewhere that Loki was having a television series. That's what I heard. I haven't read anything on that yet. But yeah. So that's what that was all about, what I just talked about. And yeah, let's start off with Thor and Rocket Raccoon. Thor and Rocket, they go back to 2013. Thor the Dark World, where Thor's mother Frida is murdered. Thor reconciles with his mother, who his mother immediately recognized that that's not her Thor. That's a Thor from the future. Thor also reunites with his Helmer millionaire in this timeline. He's still worthy. Then of course we go to 2014. The best, in my opinion, this was the best of the time travel, because this is where the plot is going again. Nebula and Rhodey go back to Guardians of the Galaxy 2014, the intro where Quill is dancing to "Come and Get Your Love." Come and get your love. And Rhodey first he asks his name, so Peter Quill's an idiot, and she says yep, and Rhodey just easily knocks him out. I'm surprised how easy it was. And retrieves the Infinity Stone. Then right when Rhodey leaves, Nebula, the future Nebula, has The present Nebula has a meltdown, has a system crash, which causes the Nebula of that time, 2014 Nebula, to retrieve the same memories as her present counterpart. And this is where Thanos is noted of his destiny and future, and Thanos then decides to follow the event, decides to kidnap the present Nebula, then follow them, then follow the Avengers back to the present and collect the Infinity Stones and undo and prevent them from doing what he did in the future. Awesome stuff there. Then of course, the most tragic scene in Vormir. Hawkeye and Black Widow go to the meet the Red Skull and retrieve the Infinity Gem. I had already forgot about this. That you have to sacrifice someone to retrieve the Soul Stone. Just the Soul Stone and Soul Stone. They both take turns when they figure out that the Red Skull is not trolling or pulling their leg. That they have to sacrifice in order for one of them to retrieve the stone. They both take turns trying to sacrifice, and Black Widow is successful. She falls. When both of them are dangling over the cliff, and Hawkeye grieves and retrieves the Soul Stone. In the most boring but emotional part of the story, Tony Stark reconciles with his father. Tony Stark and Captain America go back to the 70s to retrieve more Pym particles because they messed up theirs, and they meet a young Hank Pym. And they meet Howard Stark, and Steve Rogers sees Peggy Carter from the first Captain America movie, and yeah, the stuff with Tony Stark and his father was emotional. This was the most boring part of the time heist, but it was the most emotional, and it was story building because it built to something later, much awesome later. So yeah, everybody then retrieves home. Everybody retrieves Everybody comes home. And they notice that they can't bring Natasha back. I'm gonna talk more about this in a minute because I had a huge problem with this right here. I'm gonna talk more about that in a minute. But they can't bring her back, and this is, in my opinion, one of Hulk's best moments in the MCU. Hulk has his heroic speech where he tells the other Avengers none of them can survive. This is what he was made for. You gotta be a Hulk. You gotta have the gamma radiation to take the full power of the Infinity Stones. He takes the full power. The full power, and everybody is brought back when Hawkeye notices a phone call from his family. Don't remember which family member it was though. And everything appears to be back to normal up until Thanos reveals that he's followed them through the quantum realm to the Avengers headquarters and bombs the crap out of the headquarters where everyone survives, where Ant-Man shrinks and retrieves everyone. I'm gonna talk more about this later. I had a huge problem with this right here, but I'm gonna talk more about it later. And then Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man take the fight to Thanos. Where Thanos says the line from the trailer, "You cannot deal with your own failure." So what did it bring you? It brought you all the way back to me. And then they begin fighting with Thanos immediately gaining the upper hand. When Thanos is about to kill Thor, by ramming his own axe into him, Thor summons Millionaire. It hits Thanos, and it goes to Captain America, who is now worthy and uses it to unload on Thanos and finishes him off with a beautiful lightning hammer combo. So then Thanos gains the upper hand. Again and brings his entire army, the Black Order and the rest of the CGI creatures from the previous movie, back down. Then, in the best part of the film, when Captain America is about to take on that whole army alone, Sam Wilson, the recently resurrected Sam Wilson, tells Cap, to your left, and to his left is Oki, T'Challa, and Shuri. Then Doctor Strange teleports the Guardians of the Galaxy, Ravengers, and various sorcerers, the Wasp, the Wasp, the Wasp, and Pepper Potts arrives there in the Iron Man suit, and then Ant-Man, using Giant Man, busts out of the Avengers compound, retrieving War Machine, Rocket, and Hulk, and then Captain America says his iconic line, Avengers, assemble. And everybody, the Wakandan warriors, the Ravengers, the Guardians of the Galaxy, the Wasp, Pepper Potts, Iron Man, and everywhere, they all charge as Thanos and his army charge in one climatic, awesome comic book battle. Everywhere. I had a huge problem with this. Peter Quill has an awkward reunion with the 2014 Gamora, Black Widow, faces and overpowers Thanos, forcing Thanos to rain fire, as he said in the film. And Captain Marvel has her second moment where she comes in and destroys Thanos' ship, destroys Thanos' ship, and she retrieves the Infinity Gems from Peter Parker, who retrieved them from T'Challa, who retrieved them from Hawkeye, and it's just action everywhere. Everything comes to an end when Iron Man manages to steal the Infinity Gauntlets from Thanos' arm before he can hit the snap, and Stephen Strange does there's only one outcome, and Tony Stark knows that the outcome is him. He puts the Infinity Gauntlets on. Thanos says, I am inedible. But then Tony Stark says, but I am Iron Man. It hits the snap, and Thanos' army is disintegrated, and Tony Stark dies from using the full power of the Infinity Gems. And everyone, including the kid from Iron Man 3, is at Tony Stark's funeral. Steve Rogers goes back in the past and lives with Peggy Carter and returns as an old man and passes the shield on to Falcon. I'm mixed about this. Then Thor surrenders his rule to Valkyrie and joins the Guardians of the Galaxy as Guardians of the Galaxy. Mixed about this too. And Peter Parker has a family reunion with his Asian friend from Spider-Man Homecoming. I can't remember his name at the moment. And who else? And yeah. And the film ends there. No post-credit scene. But like I said, awesome film. That finale comic book battle where everyone returned made this film worth it, man. Made this one of the best ever. This truly was an Endgame, man. Just about everything came full circle. So yeah, let's talk about some of the other stuff I liked about this film. Starting off in the beginning, I loved the scene with Hawkeye and his family. That was emotional. Then you start the film off with, I keep forgetting the band, but the song Mr. Fantasy playing in the background. You see Tony Stark bonding with Nebula as both of them are stranded in space. And Brie Larson, whom I can't stand, she was awesome in this film. She sucked in her movie, but she is awesome in the team up in this Avengers film. For the two scenes she was in, she rescues them. Let's talk about the Nebula character. I love the Nebula character now. I hated Nebula. In the previous movies Nebula was in, she was an annoyance. And I really wanted her character to die. But of course, in the comic books, she had a big part in defeating Thanos. So of course, she will be part of the surviving Avengers. Back in Infinity War, I wanted Mantis to survive and Nebula to be dusted, but it made more sense for Nebula. It made more sense for Nebula to have her redemption, and boy, wasn't it! She was so awesome in this film. Like total improvement from the previous ones. She was an annoying villain. Here, she was a redeemed anti-hero, man. Then love Captain Marvel rescuing both of them. Love them immediately taking the fight to Thanos, and I like how the scene where everyone is preparing to enter the quantum realm, and the scene where everyone is preparing to go fight Thanos. I thought those were the last two scenes in the movies. No, that was the beginning and middle part of the film. The quantum suits was the middle, and the beginning where they all take the fight to Thanos was the beginning of the film. Was the beginning of the film. Next was, like I said, everyone returning. I thought they were gonna bring back everyone after the remaining Avengers killed Thanos, because I thought they wanted to, since the MCU started with the original Avengers, they wanted this team right here, along with Captain Marvel, War Machine, and Rocket to defeat Thanos. Then everyone will see their noble sacrifice and continue their legacy by protecting the Earth in future MCU installments. No, they brought back everyone for that final climactic comic book battle where everyone charged. Ant-Man, who was one of the best characters in the battle, Superman punched the ship. Superman punched the ship. You had the cheesy but awesome girl power moment where they all shot Thanos. Thanos, allowed Captain Marvel to take the Infinity Gems to the van, and Captain America saying the classic line from the comic books, which they teased in multiple films, but he never got to say it, and that was Avengers Assemble. So yeah, like I said, man, awesome movie. Now let's talk about the stuff I didn't like about this film. This film captured the perfect balance of drama, action, and comedy. The comedy part was the part I had a problem with most. There was too much of it, even though it was good at first. And the worst character was Thor. I hated Fat Thor. It was funny at first, but I thought, okay, he's gonna go through some cool transformation, either go back to the old Thor or get a brand new form. But no, that was the entire film. Man, he was weak and out of shape. The human characters in the film and the females, who most of the females were human, were fighting way better than Thor, which is the next problem I had with the film. The feminist message, the girl power moment, not the girl power scene, but the girl power moment. Captain America and Black Widow, and even the all-girls team, where they were passing the Infinity Gauntlets to the van to Tony Stark, they all got the best of Pepper, Valkyrie, and the other women, and got the best of Thanos, shooting him, which distracted him long enough for Captain Marvel to transport the Infinity Gems to the van. When Thanos finally got the glove and the Infinity Gems, he was about to hit the snap. Then Captain Marvel came over there and started fighting him, and Thanos was no match for her. He had to take one of the Infinity Gems and knock her out of the movie, which I cheered when that moment happened, man, and so did a lot of people in my theater. So yeah, I did not want Captain Marvel to kill Thanos, which that was one of the earlier scenarios for this movie. There were a bunch of scenarios, and I'm glad, and some of them were true, and most of them weren't. The ones that weren't, I'm glad they weren't, because they were terrible. They were good for comic books, but not in the film. I may talk about those in a sequel review to this film. Those are other scenarios, but I don't feel like talking about it here. So the girl power moments. They fought, the girls and the human characters fought better than the gods and the super beings in this film, and they fought way better than the men. Captain America. He had one cool moment where he was worthy, but Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor got the living daylights beat out of them, man. And the other characters like Doctor Strange and the Guardians of the Galaxy, they got to kill a bunch of CGI creatures and the bland Black Order members who you don't know if you don't follow the comic books, and got to do other stuff like stopping Thanos' rain of fire maneuver and a water dam from breaking. They didn't even get a piece of the Guardians of the Galaxy didn't even get another piece at Thanos when one of the main purposes for the Guardians of the Galaxy was to combat Thanos. That's their destiny. So yeah, they had the comedy moment with Gamora and Quill, which in my opinion was out of character. Gamora just came out of nowhere. Quill should be shocked to see Gamora. Instead, he immediately tries to reconcile with Gamora. How do you know that wasn't sorcery or a clone and stuff? And she kicks him in the nut. They instead, a moment that should have been tragic and sad, they try to make it comedy with Gamora kicking Quill in the nuts. Not to mention there was no consequence for what Quill did in the previous film. That was dropped in what happened in the previous film where he caused Thanos to break loose and pretty much caused him to lose the battle. That played no part here in this film. Yeah. Next is the plot holes. When Thanos blew up Avengers Tower, everybody survived. Nobody died. Next was a minor plot hole in the time travel thing. When Loki escaped in 2012 with the Tesseract, he shows up in 2013 in his cell. If he escaped, why is he in his cell? Or is that another Loki? Which they did say something about changing the past creates multiple realities. So was that another reality or something like that? Yeah, so that's the only problem I have with this film, and these flaws make this film also the worst comic book ever. I told you why it's the best, but those other flaws make it the worst. But this truly was an Endgame, and now I'm already sad, man. The phase 3 isn't even over. Yeah, we got one more film left. That's Spider-Man: Far From Home. But I'm already sad. I'm already missing Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. I wish they would have gotten them to extend their contracts much more, because I do not want to see Captain Marvel take over the MCU. A Captain Marvel film, rant is next. I do not want to see Captain Marvel take over the MCU. I hate that character. She's awesome in the Avengers and team up movies, but I do not want to watch any more solo movies with that character, man. I hate Brie Larson, and since I hate Brie Larson, I didn't see her film in theaters, man. Because it would have been hard. It was hard to root for her in her own film after all the trouble she's been causing in real life with her feminist BS. So yeah, and oh yeah, another problem I had. I mentioned other problems. Falcon and Valkyrie. Let's start off with Valkyrie. Valkyrie becoming Queen of Asgard. I had a huge problem with this. While I love Thor joining the Guardians of the Galaxy, why can't he do both? Why can't he rule Asgard and join the Guardians of the Galaxy? Here's the problem I have with Valkyrie ruling Asgard, ruling the new Asgard, being queen. The throne is birthright. Valkyrie's destiny is to protect the throne, not become queen. Unless Thor declares her his queen, unless Thor's a king and declares Valkyrie his queen, I can see something like that. But yeah, and Thor joining the Guardians of the Galaxy is cool, but I didn't want him to leave Korg and Meek behind in New Asgard. So yeah, but however, this does have me more interested in the new Guardians of the Galaxy film next year, which I'm pretty sure now it makes sense. One of the earliest scenarios would be for Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was them searching for Gamora, and we'll be introduced to the cool character of Adam Warlock in the film, which I can't wait for, who should have been introduced much before, but they had to make way for Brie Larson, Captain Marvel. Like I said, more SJW feminist garbage. Sam Wilson. Now I know why Bucky in this universe, even though Bucky was Captain America first, the new Captain America first, I know why Bucky couldn't do it, because he was a terrorist in Civil War, and the world probably is not ready to accept him yet. But I've heard about Falcon being the new Captain America, but I've never seen him in previous ones, and from what I'm hearing, I'm not liking it because they said he's only going to have the shield. According to people who's actually read the comics, he only has the shield. He doesn't have the super serum, so he's just a guy with guns and shield. If you're gonna, you should have made him a new Iron Man, not a Captain America. So yeah, in my opinion, I wanted Chris. While I love Chris Evans going back to the past, going back to the past. Going back to the past. I wanted him to be Captain America for a little while longer, especially since he's younger. I can see Tony Stark leaving and Tony Stark making the ultimate sacrifice. Awesome, man. That whole thing was just sad, man. I don't cry. I'm an adult, but you almost wanted to. That's how you know a movie is good when they can get you involved with these fictitious characters. This is actors and CGI, but they can get you involved. A good storyteller and good movie and good actors can get you involved with these characters, man. So yes, once again, way to go, Marvel. This was a what's his name. As always, I don't like the Russo brothers, but I do love the actors, Kevin Feige and the production team. They always deliver. They, for the most part, always deliver. But I do not like the screenwriters, the Russo brothers. I do not like them. I do not like them, and several comic book experts pointed out multiple flaws of them. Yeah, Thanos. Let's talk about Thanos. The Thanos battle in the beginning. I thought that ended way too quick. That ended way too quickly. That should have been a bigger struggle. That should have been a bigger struggle. I hated how easily Thanos was killed off in this film. And I love the second, and it kind of took away from the final battle because it's not the same Thanos who did all this stuff. It's a Thanos from another timeline. But I love the second Thanos better because that is Thanos. The whole I want to balance the world by wiping out all life. That is not Thanos. The Thanos you saw in the second part where he said you couldn't live with your failure, so it brought you back to me. So instead, I am gonna shred this entire world of all of its life and create a new, use the Infinity Gems to create a new world without you, a new world without you. That is Thanos with the armor and everything. I hated how in the previous film he kept taking off the armor. Here he wore the armor for almost the entire battle. So other stuff, War Machine. I hate how useless he was in this film. Apart from knocking out Quill and retrieving the Infinity Gem in his part of the story and killing some CGI creatures, he was useless in this film. He probably should have been dusted too. So yeah, hold on for a moment. Something on my computer. So yeah, that's one thing that's one thing of course I did it that's what I liked and didn't like about this film. So yeah, but like I said, an awesome film. That final comic battle, yeah, made everything worth it. Yeah, this film also wasn't as action oriented as the previous Avengers films was, and like I said, there was way too much comedy. It was good at first, but then it was what's his name? Awesome soundtrack. I mentioned Mr. Fantasy. I also love the Supersonic Machine song. That was hilarious when that song came on. And the soundtrack for the Vormir scene was the same as in the previous Avengers. So was the final battle. And Captain America saying a symbol for the final battle. That right there was awesome. Everyone was there except for Lady Sif. Everyone was there. So yeah, like I said, way to go, Marvel. Way to go, Marvel. That was that was the culmination of 10 years of movies, man. 10 years of MCU films. And I'm already sad at missing Evans and Robert Downey Jr. For part 4. I hope the X-Men, Fantastic Four, Guardians of the Galaxy, and the remaining Avengers and Doctor Strange can take me to an awesome film. Can continue the awesome track record of the MCU, man. So that was Avengers Infinity War. I'm finished for now. I may do another review I'm definitely going to do another review much later, a video review in the future. Don't know when though, but when I finish the other reviews. So right now, people, I am done. I'll see you guys later. Time to hit my music.